Well, hello there, and welcome to the second episode of the Westmen Rebooted. I'm not sure, actually, I don't quite remember whether the name was Westmen Rebooted or Westmen Rebooted Pod or Westmen Rebooted Podcast. In fact, I will check it right now. Alright, it was just Westmen Rebooted. Now, to my disappointment, I see actually someone has unsubscribed this channel. Unbelievable. I mean, I didn't expect to grow properly, I didn't expect to get like 100 subscribers by rebooting my podcast or anything like that, like exploding, or essentially I didn't even expect to gain subscribers, but to lose one. Oh, bloody hell, that's poor. Yeah, well, nothing I can do about it, really. I can't even talk anymore, can I? I mean, no wonder people are unsubbing me. Anyway, nothing I can really do about it. I can't decide whether people subscribe to my channel or not, and I can only keep making content and trying to make it as good as I possibly can, and hope that people like it. Now, you may hear that my voice is a bit different tonight, which is because I have a slight cold going on. So my nose is quite thickly tucked in, so to speak. Anyway, I've launched an ASMR channel called Westmen ASMR. And in fact, no one has watched through the whole video, so no one has basically watched it apart from myself, and I only checked that it's all fine and there's no problems or anything like that. So that's not a great start to the second channel either. I don't see how long I'll be motivated to keep doing these podcasts or those ASMR videos. I mean, I've only done one ASMR video and I'm already feeling like I can't be really bothered about it. But then, if you really want to grow, you've got to be patient and just keep working hard and grinding. But when I do a podcast every 2 months or so, or an ASMR video once a month, once a month, or every 2 months, it's not exactly grinding or putting out the content, and it's difficult to grow when you don't really have a platform to grow your channel on. Like I don't have 5,000 followers on Twitter or anything where I could promote it, and it's really not easy when I make so few videos or I do them so rarely, like once a month or on that basis. So I guess I'll just keep doing these podcasts and hoping that one day one of them goes viral or gets even 100 views. That would be quite good on in fact really very good in my standards. So I guess for now I'll just keep hoping that. But of course also when I'm sorry that you can hear sounds coming from my nose, but there's also blood in there. I just had to put some paper in there to stop the blood from coming out of there, because it's really not exactly nice to have that happening, and it's been bleeding for about a month because the weather here is so dry yet so cold, and it's my nose doesn't like it at all. Anyway, what was I talking about? About the seldomness of my content, and when Club gets released again to be playable, I guess I will start making shorts for tips. and that sort of stuff. I could of course already do it with FPL and that sort of stuff. I'm sorry, I have to go to get a tissue. I should be fine for another 5 minutes now. I just did what I had to. Luckily, I can pause it, so you didn't have to like wait half a minute until I was done with my nose. But yes. So I'll probably start making YouTube shorts with tips about club for every game week. Essentially, would probably be the best way to do it. And also, club is such a diverse game, of course, or will be rather. I'm not sure if by the time when it gets released again, it has all these features. Of course, it won't have all the features that they have promised, but perhaps some of them. I don't know if they'll have still just the gameplay, which we had already twice for the MLS testing, whatever it was called, the closed beta or something like that, and then there was the second closed beta about with the top 5 leagues. Well, not all teams, but selected teams from the top 5 leagues, and so yes, we've had quite a few game weeks so far testing it out, and yeah, it's good, it's nice, it's very nice, in fact. But there's still a lot to improve, of course, with well, personally, I think there's a lot to improve. The scoring is very goal-based still, and yeah, I'm not here to talk about that now. I'll leave that to the experts of the gaming world and people who work on the game. I'd hope these are the same people. Yeah. And they are. I know it. We've seen some great appointments by the formation games. And yeah, they are real hardened professionals of the industry. And I trust them to put out a game that I can milk content out of. And well, they most certainly will get out a game that I will enjoy anyway. As I did enjoy already the quite brief experiment of testing betas or whatever you want to call them. But yes, I could already do it with FPL, but I there's so much FPL content. I just can't see where it would break through with this, to be honest. Of course, as I just said, you just need to grind and be patient, and I could possibly eventually break through by doing FPL tips every week, and then doing some every other week, doing a 10-minute video, and then keep on also with this podcast. I might be able to break through that way, but I just there's so much FPL content already. It's just not unique. It's so generalized, and there are so many FPL tipsters and YouTubers and Twitter experts and whatnot already that it's just too common, really. Whereas club, I only know myself and Kempi who have done video content of club. Well, actually, I'm not sure if Holly Shand did some content too. She may have done. But then there were some if I remember correctly, there were some sort of celebrities who were, maybe, I don't remember. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to say that the people at club bribed. Well, that's the wrong word. Not bribed, but paid celebrities to make content out of the game or telling things about the game. Well, they have done paid promotions, like with some. I don't remember, but yeah, anyway, like proper content creators. Only ones are, I believe, me and Kempi, who have done like multiple videos out of club. Maybe Holy Shant, I can't remember. But yeah, so there's not a lot of competition on that front. And if it happens so the club grows, as I believe it will eventually, and then if by that time there are no big FPL content creators like Holly herself starting to make content of club, then I might be able to flourish there. So that's what I'm hoping for. That once club comes playable again, then I'll start putting in a lot of content about club. Well, that maybe sounds a bit too heavy. A lot of content. I might think I'll do 5 videos a week. But no, I don't have time for that. Let's be realistic. But like a YouTube short once a week, and then some sort of a 10-minute video every 2 weeks or something like that. Maybe I'll have to go have a bit of water. But indeed, I launched my ASMR channel called Westmen ASMR, and I will put the link to the channel and or the video in the description of this podcast. And if you're interested in ASMR, then feel free to check it out. My first video was Gandalf helping you fall asleep. Now, I thought initially that it was a great idea and should be getting like loads of views. Well, not like thousands, but maybe dozens of views at least, and get me a few subscribers. And I have 5 subscribers, but if I can remember correctly, none of them have actually watched my video. So it's not a great start, to be sure, but maybe if I keep grinding would really mean like video every day or that sort of tempo rhythm. But yeah, I'll keep maybe putting some videos there, ASMR videos, like perhaps from other movie franchise. I've been thinking it through a bit, and I've had ideas that maybe sort of different movies as well as Lord of the Rings, from which Candle for Causes, and I feel like I can do a half decent Gandalf impression, so it wouldn't be as bad. Some may think, but yeah, I hope it will get a few more views and I'll get maybe 1 more subscriber. Well, doesn't really matter, does it? It's not like I'm going to break through the ASMR scene and start making money out of it. No, that's never going to happen. I like growth, and I like success. Well, who doesn't like success? But anyway, nobody likes failure. So yeah, I've been dragging on 13.5 minutes about YouTube, and well, not only YouTube, but stuff relating to that. So maybe it's time to move on to football things, because Julian Nagelsmann has been sacked by Bayern München, and he has been replaced by Thomas Tuchel. And now Nagelsmann is heavily, maybe a bit more backstory. I mean, everyone that will listen to this podcast, the few of them, they'll all know this already, but I still have to tell it. Graham Potter has been sacked by Chelsea. Probably many surprised listeners there, yeah, must be. But yeah, so Nagelsmann and Potter have been sacked. And Conte, of course, also. So. But Tuchel got Bayern. But Chelsea and Spurs jobs are open. And Nagelsmann is being heavily linked with each of them. And now he's the favourite to take over Chelsea. And I I've seen like people really say that Nagelsmann is a great coach and wow, and also about Bayern sacking him. I've seen people say, "Oh, that's unreasonable. No, that's ridiculous." But see, Bayern are not top of Bundesliga. In the UCL, right? They got through their group of Barcelona, Inter, and I don't remember who the last team was. But yes, and they beat PSG in the first knockout round. And people are saying, Nagelsmann did a great job with Bayern. Well, I don't know if they are saying that, but they are still saying he's a great coach and should take over Chelsea or Spurs. And now, to be honest, I don't think he did a great job at all. At all. They were struggling in Bundesliga throughout the season, especially after the World Cup. And even in Champions League, they've not looked that good, even though they got the result. And even though they smashed Barcelona, their manager is Xavi, or Xavi, or I don't know how it's pronounced. But anyway, he's a very inexperienced coach. And then now PSG's head coach, is Christophe Galtier, and he's a very good coach. Won Ligue 1 with Lille, and yeah, but I don't think he's the right manager for a club with players like PSG have. Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, that sort of players. I don't think he's the right manager for that. As I believe I said in the very first podcast I made, he's not the wrong appointment for PSG, but at the wrong time. They should have waited until Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe leave, and then appoint him for the rebuilding part, because that's what he's been so great at so far, especially at Lille. Building, not managing at the top and keeping the level at the top and managing international stars like Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. So I believe I predicted back then that both him and Nagelsmann would eventually be sacked because they're not experienced enough at the highest level to win either of the teams the Champions League. And that's exactly what's happened to Nagelsmann. And it's exactly what will happen to Galtier, whether it is at the end of this season or next season. But he won't survive more than 2 full seasons, that's for sure. And I've seen people say that, well, for example, MDJ, the most active admin in the club Discord server, said that there must have been something in the background, some sort of fighting with the players or losing their dressing room, or some disagreements with the board or Oliver Kahn. But no, the results weren't great. Not even top of Bundesliga, which they should be topped by 5 points at the very least for it to be a good season. Even though Dortmund have been excellent after the World Cup. In UCL, with Nagelsmann, I saw absolutely zero chance of them going past Man City in the quarters. But now with Tuchel, I think they'll actually beat City, because Tuchel has beaten City with Chelsea in the UCL final, and then Pep is known to always squander at the later stages of UCL. He always starts overthinking and let's go to Pep for a moment. Pep, I believe he should have been sacked right when Liverpool won the league, and he should have been replaced by Zinedine Zidane. Zinedine Zidane. Yeah, let's not go into that. It's a great song, by the way, but I'm not going to start singing here. Well, I just did, but I'm not going to, keep singing because this is a podcast, not a bloody singing show. This season started to experiment with some interesting stuff, like putting one of the fullbacks to essentially play as a defensive mid in build-up, and then playing with 3-2-4-1 in possession that way. But and yeah, I know he's been saying for a long time that at the top end of the game, at the top of the game, you've got to be proactive and keep improving and changing at all times to stay at the top. And I don't know if I agree or disagree with that, or whether at the moment I have a neutral stance at it, or rather I have no stance at all on that matter, because I've not been at the top of the game, and I've not managed a top club, obviously, so I don't know whether that is the case, and I don't know if Pep has tried to just keep playing with the same system. Of course, eventually you've got to evolve with the game as the game evolves, but I don't know, but at the moment I assume that you don't have to make changes for every season to stay at the top. That was my ankle actually was snapped there horribly. I'm out for the season. Yeah. Sorry, I just accidentally tapped on my table. I don't know, you probably heard it, so I apologize for that. Anyway, I think Pep should just go back to the simple, good old 4-3-3 that he's won it all with. I mean, let's see, pretty much every top team in the world plays 4-3-3. Okay, I don't think Arsenal do, I think they do 4-2-3-1, but are they actually a top team in the world? They got knocked out of Europa League by, was it Sporting? I think so. So, they're not even making it to the latter stages of Europa League, let alone being even in the Champions League. It's just they happen to be so good in the Prem, and fair enough, right? But I don't think they are a top 5 team in the world at the moment. But yeah, when you look at top teams in the world, Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, they all play with 4-3-3. Well, okay, Barcelona, they're also out of Europa League, and they are managed by Xavi. So yeah, maybe they are not the great example, but they are top of La Liga, so they're essentially just like the Spanish Arsenal at the moment. But yes, for the last 5 years or so, essentially all top teams have played 4-3-3. Man City, Real Madrid, Liverpool, as much as it pains me to say, they have been a top side in the last 5 years. Not this season though. Great, lovely. Then what else? Who else? I'm not sure. Did Bayern under a proper top coach, not bloody Julian Nagelsmann? Did they play 4-3-3? I think they might have played 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. But anyway, I'm not sure about PSG. They played with three at the back for quite a few seasons, haven't they now? Then Italian teams, I'm not sure. But essentially, the top three teams of the last 5 years are Manchester City, Real Madrid, and Liverpool. They have been, haven't they? And they all have used 4-3-3, and I don't think, am I Jose Mourinho here now? I don't think it's a coincidence. It's a repeating pattern. Again, I said that in the last pod, and then I googled it. If it's right, repeating pattern, something in it just doesn't feel right when I say it. I guess it's right still. Or is it repetitive pattern? That feels better when I say it. I'm not sure. Anyway. Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. It's a pattern that we have seen repeating over and over again in the last few years. I mean, that's not just, I don't know, I just said those words because I felt like it, but it doesn't really mean anything. We have seen the top teams play 4-3-3 in the last 5 years or so, and they have been the most successful teams. So, yeah, I think he should just go back to 4-3-3 and they would probably win the Champions League this season, next season. Or they'd have won it if he hadn't had this weird obsessions with experimenting at the latter stages of Champions League. Instead of just sticking to what has proven to work. So, yeah, I think they should have replaced him with Zidane years ago, when he was first sacked by Real Madrid, maybe. I don't remember when he was first sacked, or maybe when he was sacked the second time, but I certainly don't think City should have given Pep a new contract when they did quite fairly recently. Yeah, now back to why I don't think Nagelsmann is the right coach for Chelsea or Spurs. And absurdly, I've even seen some people suggest that he should wait for the summer to come so that he can take over at Real Madrid. Real Madrid. Seriously. The best team, well, not the best team, I think, City have the best squad. And, the best club feels like, I'm talking about history and all that. Well, I think Real Madrid are the biggest club of all time in football. I think that is correct. Well, I believe they are the biggest. Of course, there's no definitive answer to who is the greatest club of all time. But I think Real Madrid are that. And I think they are also the greatest team. Well, joint greatest team with Man City at the moment in the world. And I just think that's absolutely ridiculous to even suggest something like that. What experience does Nagelsmann have of winning at the top level? Right, he was good at Leipzig. He was really good at Leipzig. But in the same way, Galtier was really, really good with Lille. Potter was really, really good with Brighton. And there are lots of examples like this. Of course, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But when it's been proven that Nagelsmann was not yet good enough for Bayern, why on earth would Real Madrid now go for him? If he was not good for Bayern, he is not good enough for Real Madrid. Now, Chelsea and Spurs, Chelsea, I think they should go for Pochettino. If they want to continue the same project that Potter started, that Bowley was apparently so passionate about or planned well. I don't think Chelsea should have sacked Potter. It's stupid. It's just stupid. They said it was a long-term project, and then they sack him like 6 months in. So it's not a long-term project. It's essentially like what Carlo Ancelotti said in his book when he was at PSG, and he was doing a good job. Oh, I don't know, he was doing a good job back then, but he essentially revolutionized PSG, and is a big reason why they're so big. They didn't have a club restaurant, and he, he made them build one so that the players will spend time with each other and can eat at the club. But yes, Ancelotti was threatened by the chairman or some board member of PSG or the owner or someone, that if he loses a game, I think it was in Champions League, he loses his job. And they won the game. But after that he said, I'm leaving in the summer because I thought I was part of a long-term project. So that's a boss move by Carlo, not getting, run over by the owners, and keeping his self-dignity, and that's so. Yeah, it's really weird. They paid Potter strawberries. Well, I don't think that's actually a saying in English, but it is in Finnish. Paying strawberries means paying a lot of money, which they did for Potter. Paid a lot of money for him. Paid like 20 million to get him from Brighton, and then paid him. What was his paycheck when they sacked him? It was 60 million pounds. It's ridiculous. They paid 80 million essentially, spent essentially 80 million plus the wages that Potter already got in his time at Chelsea. So it's like close to 100 million pounds that they spent on Graham Potter, and then they give up on him 6 months later, which is ridiculous. I mean, yes, he had a lot of signings in January, but still, it's truly ridiculous. Their underlying stats have been really good, and they should be like in top 6. And well, they shouldn't have sacked him, in my opinion, but they have, and now it can't be changed. Well, it can. They could appoint Potter back, but they won't, because it only happens in Italy, that sort of stuff. And now that it's been done, I think if they want to continue the same project, go for Pochettino. If they want to return back to the sort of style that Tuchel played at Chelsea, then they should go for Conte. And now then, of course, Conte has already been at Chelsea and won the league with them. But yeah, that's what I think about Chelsea. That's enough about Chelsea. I see this podcast is actually running quite long now, and I'm delighted that I'm able to naturally produce such a long podcast. I think I don't actually remember, I think it was about half an hour, that first Rebooted podcast. A bit under half an hour, maybe a bit over, somewhere like that anyway. Yeah, let's not talk about that now. Let's get on with it so this doesn't get too long. Spurs. Well, Spurs were fair enough. I mean, fair enough for sacking Conte. By the way, this is Tuesday, so yesterday, my dear old Everton and And then Spurs drew 1-1 with an absolute cracker of a goal by Michael Keane in the 90th minute to square the game. And 2 red cards in the game. That's quite unusual, unless you're in Ligue 1. So yes, what do I think Tottenham should do? Well, they have a lot of attacking, yes, but they have a lot of good attacking players, to be precise. Kane, Son, Richarlison, Kulusevski. So I don't think Conte's style essentially fits them. So they were not right to appoint him in the first place, in my opinion. But yes, I think Graham Potter is absolutely someone they should consider. But I'm not sure if it's the right decision to appoint him right now. He would probably, if I was Graham Potter, well, unless I'd get another 100 million contract on my table, I'd want to wait until the summer, because clearly taking over a team during mid-season did not suit him with Chelsea, at least. I'm not sure of his record history of joining teams mid-season, if he has done it before Chelsea and how well he did, but it didn't suit him this season. So I don't think he should go to Spurs now, and Spurs have of course already announced that Stellini will stay in charge until the rest of the season. So I can definitely see the move on the cards that Potter would go there in the summer. Now, Potter has also been linked with the Leicester job, as Leicester also sacked Brendan Rodgers. And, they have a great squad with attacking players. And good attacking players, again, to be precise. And his style would suit them. But it's still a bit of a risk, because he could go down, and at this point he certainly would not want a relegation in his CV. So I again wait until the summer and see if Spurs want you, if Leicester possibly want you. I don't think he's going abroad, but then of course there is Liverpool job potentially opening up if Klopp gets sacked. And now, funnily enough, I think that Nagelsmann would actually suit Liverpool brilliantly now. Or would he? Well, I'm not sure. In terms of style, he's quite close with Klopp, very close with Klopp, in fact. But again, I'm not exactly sure he's great at dealing with star players like Salah. And yeah, Salah essentially the only star in the current Liverpool team. But his style would suit them. If they want to go for a proper rebuild, then I think they should maybe go for Nagelsmann. But if they want to return back to that, or if they want to try at least to return back to being a top team competing for Premier League, Champions League. Well, they won't be competing Champions League for Champions League next season, because they won't finish top 4 with almost certainty. So I think Nagelsmann is a great, prospect for that job, because his style is so close to that of Klopp's, whereas at Bayern, Hansi Flick, well, I didn't watch a lot of Bayern's games under Flick, but I think he played a possession-based style, which is what Bayern have done for quite a long time now, under Pep, Ancelotti, and other big names who have been there in the fairly recent years. So yeah, I think that if Klopp is sacked, Liverpool could be Nagelsmann's Nagelsmann's breakthrough in a proper good team, I think he would finish top 6 with them, quite possibly, if he can just keep the players' confidence in him and control the stars, or the star, that is Mohamed Salah. What Spurs should do at this point with the great attacking players, of course, Pochettino's return is a possibility, and I think it wouldn't be a bad choice. But I think they should also consider Luis Enrique, who has been without a job since he left Spain after the World Cup. I think they should absolutely consider him. He has always basically played a tiki-taka with Spain, and I believe Barcelona for the Spanish listeners, if there are any. I'm trying to pronounce every language right here. So, I mean, I don't speak Spanish or French, or I only speak Finnish and English and a bit of basic Swedish. But I'm trying to pronounce everything right because I'm a perfectionist. So yes, I think Luis Enrique is also one who should be considered for the Spurs job, along with Pochettino. And I can't really think of anyone else. Well, oh yeah, Brendan Rodgers. I think he should absolutely be considered. He's of course managed Liverpool in the past, and he should be considered for that. Of course, now I'm only mentioning managers who are without a job currently. But yes, also Graham Potter. So essentially, I think Spurs won't go too badly if they go with Pochettino, Luis Enrique, Graham Potter, or Brendan Rodgers. Now again, of course, Graham Potter didn't break it through at Chelsea at the top level, but their underlying numbers were good. So I don't think it was really his fault that they didn't succeed as well as they should have, because they just didn't score lots of goals and conceded more than they should have based on the XG. So I think he could definitely be one for the Spurs job too. I think that's the end of this podcast, and thank you for anyone who has come all the way through the podcast and listened to all of these 43 minutes. And the next episode will be the one when the season is finished. I will be reviewing my predictions and something else fun, hopefully. So bye for now.